Hello, everybody. Oh my gosh, I almost can't sit still. I'm so excited. Welcome to New Earth Rising. We are here with so much fun. Oh my God, you guys are going to love the show. But before we do that, I'm Michelle Ambergy. I am the Awakener. I am one of many. Chances are you guys are too. When I talk about awakening, is I work on myself as I do my work for me to awaken my heart, to awaken my mind, to expand out into love. I know that we all bless and lift each other. And I am just working in all this spiritual realm, and I love, love, love it. And here at New Earth Rising, we bring all different kinds of subjects and people and topics and gifts and love to you guys too. And it's so fun as we get more and more. Sharon and I keep going and gathering more and more people around us. It's just getting richer and so much fun. And Sharon and I are so honored to be here. We love doing this. Every time we get together, it's just a laugh fest, and there's so much joy that I'm already losing my voice. And so thank you for being here. We're here. We've got Kelly Rainbow Butterfly, which Kelly, by the way, I wanted to name my granddaughter Abby Rainbow Butterfly, and I wasn't allowed to. So when I met you, I was so happy because somebody has that name now. And then we have Christian, the Stone Man. And so we're going to talk about all different kinds of things. We got Sassy Squatch on the docket too. But first, I have to introduce my co-shenanigator and super, super dear friend and fellow Virgo. September's coming up. Get the gifts ready, people.
Virgo.
Sharon.
Oh, another Virgo.
Yay. Oh, it's
Oh,
Virgo
yay.
City. Watch
Yeah,
out.
totally.
Hey, Sharon.
Hey, Michelle, thank you. I am really excited. I can't stop smiling. I just feel the joy coming through already. We talked a little bit before, as always, before we hit the record button today. And there's so much joy coming in, and I'm so happy that Kelly and Christian are here. We've chatted before, and I feel like I've known them in many lifetimes. We seem to just reconnect. We do. We all reconnect and find our tribes again. So I'm really, really excited to be talking about Sasquatch and crystal skulls and some work that Christian does and their retreat or their conference, right? You're having a conference, a gathering.
Camp out, to retreat, kind of whatever you want to call it. But yeah.
Yay, that's coming up. So
yeah,
take it away, Michelle.
All right. So people of the Sasquatch Nation. I'm so excited. You know what? When I was a little girl, we used to camp out up near Mount Shasta all the time. And oh my gosh, I'm feeling like crying. And I remember several times when we were up there, I used to feel like there was someone watching me, but it wasn't scary. It was like really loving. And I think when I was like 7 or 8, I heard about Sasquatch. And my first thing was like, oh my God, I love them. Now, when I saw a picture of it, I was kind of like, yike, because they're big, but I have been fascinated with them. A lot of people think Sasquatch is like scary, and people have had, experiences that would appear to be scary, but they're actually fascinating, loving beings, interdimensional beings, I understand. And so one of the first things that I want to ask you guys about is, how did you get started with being almost like the ambassadors of Sasquatch? How did this begin?
Well, I'd say for me, it really started right at that moment where so much started for everybody. December 12th, 2000, what was that? 2012, right? Or December 21st, 2012 is when everything really started to pick up for me. And the big introduction to the Sasquatch came. I had heard that I was having experiences in the woods and things like that where I lived in Arkansas. And I also just knew that it was Sasquatch, or that it was some kind of ancient being, or, it was a loving presence, but I couldn't quite understand it. And then when I was introduced to the idea that they're multidimensional, and that they're carekeepers of the earth, and that they are, basically nature spirits and things, it just resonated so much. And my connection with them really grew from there. And so I started interacting with them, receiving like wisdom teachings from them, and channeling different information. And so it's been an ongoing journey since then. And I've connected with many other people that also communicate with Sasquatch. I'd have to say that, Facebook is really the hub of that. That's how I connected with Soul Tribe in that kind of manner. And so, and then I met Sunbo also online, who began channeling the Sasquatch. So it's like a catalyst. Every time you meet somebody, or every time you start doing this kind of work together, more and more of it comes out, and more unfolding and everything like that. So, now I've published the 3 Sasquatch Message to Humanity books that Sunbo wrote, and the 3rd book actually has 10 different authors of people channeling Sasquatch messages.
Oh my gosh.
Yes, yeah. So it's wonderful information, and it continues to come into people's awareness. Like I mentioned to you earlier, just 12 days ago, there was an interview released that Sunbo did with Dr. Michael Sala. And so that really got a big audience, a big following from that. And so now, just, in less than 2 weeks, I can see it in the numbers, all over social media or in book sales and things like that, that people are really like, oh my goodness, thank you for introducing this, or I'm so happy to hear you sharing this information. It aligns with this and that. So so it's just a really beautiful ongoing journey.
Hey, Kelly.
Yes.
So
Wow.
the books by Sunbo, I believe we talked about this before. I believe these are the books that I've read, and they talk about he channels the history of the planet, right?
Yes.
And other planets, and how we came to be kind of where we are, and
Yes.
other beings. Okay, yeah. I highly recommend them if you haven't read them. They're really amazing books, definitely.
How
Yes.
fun.
Thank you.
How fun. And Kelly, did you help with that 3rd book? Are you one of the people that added
I
to it?
did. I wrote the first 12 chapters of it, actually. And
Oh my
it's
gosh.
wonderful, profound information. So the first 2 books that Sunbo wrote, and like I said, I edited it and published it, and stuck my little pictures in there and things like that. But those 2 books they're loaded with all kinds of information. Like Sharon said, a lot of history, a lot. The 2nd book especially goes into a lot of like quantum mechanics and knowledge about all of the different dimensions, and so you can kind of understand almost from a scientific standpoint how this works and how we're able to tap into that. And then the 3rd book, like I said, 10 different authors, including myself and Sunbo. But that one actually has a lot of more information. There's also, ancient history and things like that, but it's also a lot of tools to help you in your healing, in your journey. So understanding a lot of different soul things, or understanding karma, or understanding the essence of the ego, different things like that. And then
Wow.
some tools
Nice.
on how to rebalance.
Nice. So
Fantastic.
do you mind sharing some of your experiences? I know you both, Kelly, you and Krishna, have had experiences with personal experiences with Sasquatch. People love to hear experiences.
Yes.
And I know we do too. Do you mind sharing some?
Sure. Well, there's so many to potentially share. And quite a few of them are in the book too. But I'd say like the most profound one, the one that I know really touches people when I share it as well, is when I first met my guide, George. His name is George, and he's an ancient one. And this was back in Arkansas when I was really kind of connecting with their people, seeking it out, seeking them out in a way that, letting them know, hey, I'd really like to know you on a deeper level and to help you and to share your message and things. And so I was in the woods by myself. And actually my son was a baby at the time and he was napping. And so this was like a really quick trip to the woods. I knew my little time frame, and so I went and I experienced a Sasquatch. I actually stood in between 4 different trees that it made a circle, and I stood inside of the circle of trees, and I was singing a song, and it was actually the song Hallelujah. And
I love that
so
song.
as I'm singing it with my eyes closed, I can see the Sasquatch moving closer and closer to me. And so it's in my mind's eye, but at the same time, I can feel him moving closer to me. I can feel this giant being like right here, and so I'm kind of thinking, oh yeah, well, I'm going to open my eyes and, there's not going to be anything there. But I opened my eyes and he was there, and it's still in my third eye. But it was so vibrant and physical. I could see every hair and every wrinkle in his skin. And so he was smiling big, just happy and jovial. And he was so like happy for us to connect. And so that was really, I guess, what really the catalyst that started the journey. Like I said, there's actually so many different things. But that was the first real, what I consider physical, because he was definitely there physically. Even a couple things got like knocked off the tree that shouldn't have been, so it was kind of like, okay, this is happening, and so that was really profound. He followed me home. So we had a conversation. He actually asked me to follow him into a portal, and I didn't. I didn't know what to expect. This was a very new experience for me, but I could see this portal and it looked like fairies. There was some kind of beings that swirling around it in a circle. And I was like, wow, that's really cool, but I can't. I have to go home and wait for my baby to wake up, and so I didn't do that, but it was still the beginning of a journey. I don't feel like I missed out on anything. And he followed me home and he's been with me since.
Wow.
Anytime he's here right now. Sometimes people can see him, but people definitely feel him, his presence.
Yeah. Nice.
And this is something too that I want to make sure everybody that is watching this understands, that when you see and experience things within your third eye, within your clairvoyance, or even clairaudient, any of your senses, it doesn't mean it's not real. This is how we are now understanding that we see multiple dimensions. It's as real as if it's right here. Yeah. And we're just learning how to perceive and understanding that this is how it works. This is how it works. Yeah. And to have all this ancient wisdom returning to us about our history and who we are as humanity and how the universe works and everything. It's just coming out of, like, it's just oozing out of everywhere now. And we're beginning to realize who we are, and being able to do that, Kelly, is just amazing. That is so cool. That is so cool.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing that. And to build on what Michelle was saying, I shared with you before, you probably don't remember, but that I have a telepathic relationship with the Sasquatch who came to me in the woods, and I felt this energy, something looking at me from my right side. I was walking my dogs in this wooded area where I take my dogs all the time, and I turned and he projected to me that he was a Sasquatch, and he was crouched down and watching me. He was a young male Sasquatch, and he communicated to me, hello. And I said, hello, but it was in my third eye and it wasn't physical. And every time I would go there, I would communicate with him. I'd feel him come up close, just like you were talking about, Kelly.
Yes.
Yeah, and I could feel his energy. I could feel tingling when he was next to me, that type of thing. And he would tell me stories about his trips, you know, his journeys and things like that. And he'd give me uh third eye scenes of us together, me human and him Sasquatch, that type of thing, where maybe I traveled to him or was there with him in my second body or something like that. Yeah, and I asked him one time, why don't you appear to me physically? And he said, because it would scare the, you know, what you'd faint. You'd faint.
I hear that a lot from a lot
Yeah.
of people that communicate with them. Well, how come you know, why don't you just like come knock on the door, come on in, I'll feed you, you know? And they're like, no, you can't handle that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The human psyche is kind of fragile sometimes.
Yeah. And also they're so powerful.
Yes.
You know, it's like just their presence is so powerful that some people's energy fields couldn't handle it.
Yeah. A lot of people feel this, even if they're not tuned in to understand what they're feeling, you'll see people react when you know that, you know, they're around, and it's this, I mean, you see, it's like this heart thumping, or it's this, anyway, it's an overwhelming kind of feeling that you can't quite place. It's it has a definite physical effect on the body too, and you're just kind of like, well, what's happening
Yeah.
here? And
Well,
it's just
isn't it
like
a
high
frequency?
vibration.
Yeah, I was just going to say that it's a frequency thing.
Yes.
Where, yeah, our bodies can only handle a certain frequency sometimes.
Yeah. And it's like when you work with ascended masters or archangels or and you feel, sometimes you feel that presence, you don't know what it is, you don't know how to place it anywhere, and yet you feel it. And that's something I think humanity is waking up to too. Is like, what are you feeling? Get out of this thing here.
Right.
Quit trying to figure it out. What are you feeling? And it opens up the doorways for all these great beings that are all around us. It's like we've got all this greatness around us. And Sasquatch is a big part of all of that, because it's almost like they're more of that like woodland creature kind of a presence, and the keepers of the earth, and they're so earthy. And it's so important that we begin to reconnect with the earth now too.
Yeah.
So their presence is so important. Oh, I'm getting total chills. Woo! It's so cool.
One thing I think that people can maybe it will help people is when you're feeling that high vibration of ascended beings or higher frequency beings, whether it be Sasquatch or masters or teachers or anything, it can cause anxiety because it's such a high frequency. If our physical body is not in tune, hasn't, you know, if we're not working on our stuff so that we can take on more light, because what we're doing is taking on more light, right? And so if we're not working on our stuff, then it can cause a lot of anxiety. I know this from experience. When I first started 20 years ago, first started feeling all these beings around me. Yeah. So it can cause anxiety attacks and panic attacks, definitely. So it's really important to be aware of that and get tools to be able to integrate that light.
Yes.
Yeah.
That frequency. Yeah.
Yeah. And it can bring up, you know, that fear too. You know, if you've got that fear energy in your field, it also can amplify whatever is in your field.
Yeah.
Right. And so that's why a lot of people, like when I was little, you know, it was like no fear whatsoever. But as I got older, it was a little bit like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Now it's just pure love. And part of it is from meeting you guys, to be honest with you. You know, when I met you guys, I don't even know how I met you guys.
Probably through
third eye. Yeah.
Yeah, probably third eye, and maybe 15, 16 million years ago too. It was just like, it's like, oh yes, this feels so good. So Christian, really quick, tell us about your experiences with Sassy.
Or not really quick, however you want to.
Well, first of all, I'd like to share 2 messages that I received from them. Yeah. And the first one is, they're saying this to me. You want us to be your gentle giants. We want you to be a gentle giant to all creatures smaller than yourself first.
Wow.
Nice.
Tears.
Beautiful. Oh.
And that and hugs heal hearts.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh my God. And you know what? They probably, when we become the gentle giants, they'll probably trust us a little bit more to be more involved with humanity too.
Sure.
Well, as we display this and continuously display this, we become more like them.
Yeah.
We become more like them. What I've learned, I've had a few experiences with Sasquatch. I've actually seen them, but I've had to incorporate something I call soft focus vision in order to be able to see them. It's
Mhm.
literally letting yourself go cross-eyed and just
Mhm.
taking yourself out of focus.
Mhm.
I've actually been able to see them a few times this way and had some really beautiful experiences with them. Very loving creatures,
Mhm.
very much know how to get a point across when they need to.
Yes.
That's one thing I want to share. I've never told anybody this. When I come from more of a, the spiritual background that I come from really didn't have much with Sasquatch integrated into it for a good portion of my life. Really more so, I just didn't, it's not that I didn't have interest. I was just focused in other areas, and I had some experiences which were definitely Sasquatch like, but I never attributed to that. Like I remember there were times where I would meditate and all of a sudden my arms would feel like energetically they're tree trunks, and I've grown 10 times. I'm just sitting there in meditation, and the breathing, it's like I'm breathing through a really shallow tube, but it's got a sensation of being like that feeling you would feel being in a womb, but it's not the sensation of actually being in a womb.
Wow.
And you have this spatial difference where you feel like you're right next to something, but if you try to reach it, it's about as far away as the moon. And the other
Wow.
way, you could have something looking really far away, and then you reach out and it's right in front of your hand. So I've had a couple of experiences like that. Never would have thought it had anything to do with Sasquatch. Just figured it was just meditation, breathing, and stuff like that. But as I got to have more experiences with Sasquatch and got to know Kelly, definitely I was able to figure a lot of that stuff out. But the one that I want to talk about is the 2019 Sasquatch conference. So I was asked to go and vend there, and I was going through a divorce at the time. This was before Kelly and I got together, and relationship was really on the rocks, and I was having a lot of difficulties, and I didn't want to go. I just didn't want to go. I was not in the best space. I didn't want to talk to anybody. I didn't want to try to sell my art or anything like that. And before I know it, I'm feeling energetically 12 Sasquatch around me. And it's like they're all standing over me and they're like, hey, what are you doing down there? You're missing it. You're just sitting there. Come on, come on. They're having so much fun. You got to go there now. About 10 minutes of this went on. And I just got up. I turned to my ex and I went, I think I need to go right now. And I had a great time.
Oh, that's
Nice.
Beautiful
awesome.
time. Want to touch really quickly about the materialization. When I get to see them, I've gotten to see them a few times through the soft focus vision. And there was one instance where I'm sitting down here, and the way our office space down here is, so I have a workbench just over here where I fix computers, and I have a hallway behind me where it goes up a steps. And I'm just feeling this presence in the room. And I turn around, I stop what I'm doing, and I just kind of look out with that soft focus vision. And all of a sudden, I see this being that looks very much like a Sasquatch. And she's far away, and I don't see her walking up close, but it's like a still image, then a still image, then a still image, then a still image, and then she's right up to my face. And we're about this far away from each other. And I'm just looking at her. And we're not used to speaking to non-human entities that are sentient. And we are conditioned that we're all supposed to look a certain way and feel a certain way. And even, I don't care how open a person thinks they feel, I can tell you when I had that experience, and I consider myself wide open, I really had to stop myself for a moment and not let the fear kick in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Really had to take a check right in the middle, especially like that, because you're looking at a very non-human face, non-human like, and you're not familiar with the expressions. You don't know what they mean.
Yeah.
You just gotta feel it all with your heart.
Right.
But it took, I made sure for myself, I mean, in that situation, most important thing was I did not want to offend her.
Yeah.
I felt so honored to receive that gift.
Aw.
I did not want to offend her. So,
And that's probably why
Beautiful.
she trusts to be able to come to you like that too.
yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Because they can sense integrity. And I don't know how I know that, it just went in my head.
Well, yeah. Yeah.
They're telling you.
Yeah,
Right?
I think that's what's
Yeah,
happening.
they can. They know your intentions, and that's why all
Mhm.
all these people that are going out trying to hunt them or look for them to,
Yeah.
for whatever their agenda is. They know long before they get there, and they're like, no. They make sure that they avoid
Yeah.
whatever their agenda is and trying to find them.
Yeah. Do you
And
know
I'm so
Mike
glad they
Patterson?
can.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, totally. Do you know Mike Patterson,
I
Kelly?
do.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, I had him on my show a while back. He's amazing. His experiences are also amazing in the audio he has. And
Yeah.
he was saying the same thing, Christian, that they'll be right there in a higher frequency in his house. Right. And he can feel them and he knows they're there. And they do something physical in the room to mess with him. They play
Yes.
tricks on him.
Yes. All the time. No
Yeah.
one's in the room and we're hearing things
A
shuffle,
lot of
and
that.
a lot of that goes on.
Yeah.
A lot of that. And very playful, very much very free-spirited, very spirited, like the wide-eyed wonder of a child.
Yes,
And that
totally.
kind of like what I get a sense of their playfulness is kind of like,
Yeah.
like that. It just makes you, fills you with warmth.
Yeah, I think I'm sure they're trying to teach us. They're not trying to teach us. That's just the way they are. They can teach us not to take ourselves so seriously.
Yeah.
Everything they do, they teach us.
Yeah.
Everything they do contains a message. Everything that they do points a way closer to them. That's
Yeah.
the same thing that I'm seeing over and over and over and over again. And it was amazing to me because I remember one time I got into a situation where I got pulled over and I got a ticket because I didn't renew my tabs quick enough. And I was kind of having an out morning. And I said to myself, I just kind of just said out there, and I was like, man, I would have loved to have had a little bit of warning that this would have happened today. And all of a sudden I get this flash of me sitting in the car before I pulled it out that morning, where I felt the urge that I would get pulled over if I left today, and how much I thought that was just me saying that to myself, and how much I ignore myself. And I realized at that moment,
Yeah.
we get communicated by them all the time,
Mhm.
but we think it's us. We think it's just us talking to ourselves. We just
Mhm.
think it's us talking in our head.
Right.
And it's amazing how much of it's not. How much of it is communication.
Mhm.
It's us that doesn't understand the communication.
Right.
What I'm getting out
Good
of it
point.
is the visual. And then in the visual, they don't even talk, like speak. What I get with them is, though I have gotten that feeling and the words come out like those two phrases that I had, but it's like, if you get this vision in your head, but then there's a focal point that your mind's eye is always drawn to.
Yeah.
And then there's a feeling associated with that focal point. And that's how, what I've learned is that's how, not just the Sasquatch, all of the universe, this is how they all communicate. This is how we're meant to communicate.
Yes.
And
Yes.
the other thing I wanted to say, the frequency, we're capable of all of it. The human body is capable of all of it. From what I've observed with them, the key to it all is harmonic frequency
Yeah.
and aligning our chakras harmonically like a tree, starting at the root and work your way up. And as you do this, you become so much more like the Sasquatch.
Yay.
Nice.
Oh, that's so cool. I
love that.
love that. You know, it's so funny. My cat is sitting right here with me. And usually he's getting into stuff and he's banging stuff and he's knocking stuff over and he's walking in front and he's sitting here and I keep hearing him go, mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It sounds like he's agreeing with what you're saying.
We're in Leo season.
Yeah.
It is the month of the cat.
It is the month of the cat. Yay, cat.
That's why I made the two. I actually made two. I made two stones for Lions of the Season.
Share with us, Stone Man.
Well,
Share
this
us
is
your
the first one,
beautiful
the
rocks.
segment,
Oh my gosh.
which I made for Barbara Jean Lindsay.
Wow.
And that one is Sept,
Wow.
astrologically dated.
You want the large one?
And then, no, I'm not going to. The other one I did this season, and her name is Leo.
Oh, I love it.
Leo.
Oh,
Beautiful.
oh my gosh.
The smile.
I love this smile. It's so
Gorgeous.
sweet.
Oh, look at that.
And
Yeah.
one thing I want to say about these stones that I paint, it's a process of co-creation.
Yeah.
Stones, I consider all things living
Yeah.
to energy, but stones particularly are very much alive. They are very
Yes.
much animate. I have felt stones move in my hand energetically. They have hearts. They're magnetic cores. And when you paint consciously with them, a lot of these details were in the stone. I just brought them out. This face was there. The stone had this consciousness.
Yeah.
It's just
Yep.
a matter of bringing it forth. So yeah, Leo season. So it is definitely cats. Cats are very vocal this month.
I love it. Those are so cute. And since you introduced those to us, I know we were talking about that earlier, but you do, for some people, you actually will create these, co-create these for people at their request.
Yes.
And to help them, but you were talking to saying that it is not something you just pull out a rock and do, that you really put your heart and soul into it and find the right rock. And
they speak.
Like channels
don't-
it. Yeah.
I channel.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't. You know, if somebody comes up to me and says, "Hey, paint me a green dragon," I can paint a green dragon. But if you start giving me details, I can't flow with that. The
Yeah.
stone has to speak to me. The stone shows me with light and shadow where's what and where it's going to be laid out. And sometimes I'll spend 2 or 3 days painting a stone, but I'll spend a week just looking at the stone, observing the stone. So I do that for people, you know, and I just let the stone guide, because again, they know what the people need.
yeah.
You know, I consider these telephones.
Oh,
Oh, I
beautiful.
love it.
Okay, I'm your first customer from this podcast.
I'm your second.
And he does runestone sets too.
Oh,
So he's always making full runestone sets.
25 of these. This is one example.
Oh, I love it.
So runestones, why a stone? Why not just a gem chipping? Why not a Dremel? Why not chisel it? Well, you hold this in the palm of your hand, and the heart of this stone,
Yes.
the energy, will connect to your chakra in the palm of your hand, go straight up your arm into your heart. It's co-creation, it's living, it's channeling, it's feeding, and we are receptacles and transmitters for our intent. We transmit this magnetically. So when you sit with a stone that has a magnetic heart and you're doing this as co-creation, it's quite potent.
Yes.
It's quite potent, and whatever you put out, it comes back quick.
yeah. Wow.
I love it. I've been
Amazing.
fascinated by crystals and rocks my whole life. When I was
Me
a little
too.
girl, we used to move a lot. And every time we get to a new place, I would collect all the rocks and I put them under my bed. And my poor mom, we get ready to move and she's like, what is with you and the rocks, Michelle? I love them.
Me
And
too.
I
all
finally
of you.
started hiding them from my parents because I kept throwing them away.
Oh,
Or returning them back to the earth, maybe.
Well,
yes.
I guess
You
in
hope.
some way or another,
Yeah.
I'd like to think that they were gently returning them back to the earth.
Yeah.
But yeah, oh, that's so beautiful. I love the way you describe that because
Totally.
I've always seen and felt the life within rocks, rocks and trees.
Yes.
Really, really connected to
Yeah.
that.
Yes.
So Christian, we will have your information. We'll put, for the people out there, we'll put your information down in the details so they can contact you if they would like that, a rock
Yeah.
gifted with your channeling abilities and arts and all that amazing stuff.
Oh yeah. And we
Yes.
definitely, and we will also have the book that Kelly was talking about too. We'll put links to that book so people can get that too. You guys are just like you're it's so fun. We just have so much stuff for you guys. And I know something that we wanted to talk about too that is so wonderful that you guys do is these gatherings that you do. And I understand you have one coming up in September, which is actually the weekend right before my birthday, right after Sharon's in Arkansas. Tell us about that.
Yes, well, it's this is a first time traveling somewhere to do a gathering. So we usually do the Sasquatch Family Reunion here in Northeast Washington. The last couple of years it's been in Kettle Falls, which is north of Spokane and really close to Canada. But this September we decided to take a trip to the area that I moved from and where my son is born. And everything is coming together to have this gathering of the ancients, a convergence of earth keeper wisdom. So it's very similar to the Sasquatch Family Reunion, but we also knew that it needed to be a little bit of a different theme. And well, it's really the same kind of theme, but just a different name to it. Because the area that we're having it, that all came to me also in like dreams and in visions. It's an area that I've been to, but thinking about it, I kept seeing a picture of a waterfall. I don't know if you can see it in the flyer. It's covered by lots of words, but behind that is a waterfall. And anyway, that kept coming to me and I knew exactly where it was at. So while I was initially thinking, oh, well, we could, have it on a private property somewhere or something, it was just like, no, this is the place to have it. At Blanchard Springs Caverns. So there's some massive caves there where you can do cave tours and stuff. But,
Wow.
there's also crystal caves in the area. This is in Arkansas where a lot, the source of where so much quartz crystal comes from. And so, yeah, the convergence of earth keeper wisdom. So a lot of the topics that we'll be doing, we're having sharing circles and drum circles and fun times and stuff, but also learning wisdom teachings like ancestral knowledge, different indigenous wisdom, ancient and universal knowledge or ancient history, talking about all these kinds of different topics, as well as earth stewardship, self-healing type things, and also the Mitchell Hedges crystal skull is due to be there as well. And so just having that magnificent being, integrated into all of it too, is people always have, very unique experiences in the presence of that, and get, different downloads of information or understand more about themselves or earth history, everything like that. So it's going to be really amazing. And the spirit of Sun Bear, the chief of the Bear Tribe Medicine Society, he passed in 92, but his spirit is very much influencing this as well.
Nice.
And we've connected with people that have property nearby with a medicine wheel that he built, to where we've been invited to come do ceremony and things like that. And it's all just, coming together really beautifully, and we really look forward to it. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Make sure we get that information so we can get it here for people to
Okay.
do that. Oh my God.
One of the things I'd like to mention about this gathering was, I've never been to Arkansas. It's a totally new experience. So a lot of times Kelly's talking to me and she's telling me about details, and I'm like, oh, that's cool. I'll see it when I get there. And she shows me this place. She goes, there's this cave there. And I'm like, that's nice. And she goes, I want you to see the cave. And I'm like, sure. So she shows me this picture of the cave, and my jaw drops. Because in the last 4 years, I had 2 very prolific dreams with that exact cave.
Wow.
Wow.
Very prolific dreams. It was just, yeah.
And others that are coming have also dreamt of this cave. After I scheduled the event and put, the pictures out there, like, oh my God, I've had dreams where like important things are happening, big ceremonial earth healing and ancestral karmic healing. There's a overwhelming kind of ancestral healing theme going on here too. Yeah.
And there's magic in that land. I used to buy my amethyst, I would get the chunks of amethyst from a guy in Arkansas.
Mhm.
And they were digging for something else. So they would kind of blow stuff up.
Oh yeah.
And they would blow up these caves of this amethyst and then sell it. Like you get like this is a while back before crystals were a thing, really, but you get like a 50-pound box for like $50.
Wow.
So I had a 50-pound box of amethyst delivered to my house, and I decided to put a medicine wheel in the middle of my living room.
Oh, beautiful.
And so I did it in the sacred manner, and I did the whole thing, and it was so awesome. Well, the energy started amping up, and it started getting rocking and rolling, and my kids were like scared to walk through the living room.
Oh.
And I was meditating one day, and all of a sudden I heard a door slam, and I kind of opened my eye and I went, oh my God, what's going on? And so I closed my eyes, and all of a sudden I was like, somebody's here. And I opened my eye, and there was a little being looking through what looked like a doorway in the middle of this medicine wheel. And then he saw me and he slammed the door.
Wow.
Wow.
And it was so cool, but it scared me so bad. I took the medicine wheel out because I was like, I don't know what I'm getting myself into. But it was cool. But it was as you're talking about this and the Arkansas thing, all of a sudden I'm going, oh my gosh, I had that energy of that area that you're talking about in my home at that time.
Yes.
And I can feel it. I can still feel it. I still have pieces of it in my home now.
Yes.
Beautiful.
I have a lot of Arkansas quartz crystals here. I make orgonite and put different kind of crystals in it. And I have one right here.
Gorgeous.
And
Yes, let's see.
Yeah, it's a little pyramid, and I've got I got a Sasquatch in there too. I wish the lighting was better.
Oh, in the middle?
cute.
Oh,
You can
yeah.
see-
And then there's a butterfly, and those are made out of shungite and an alien.
Oh, there's an ET. Yeah.
Yes, but at the top is an Arkansas quartz crystal, and I've noticed since I've been using specifically the Arkansas quartz that it has a totally different, it's like a more amplified energy to it.
Yeah.
Compared to probably a lab grown crystal or something sourced from somewhere else. I mean, all crystals are wonderful, but there's something about the energy of the Arkansas quartz that's that much more amplified.
So
yeah,
do you-
absolutely.
So Kelly, so you create these orgonite artworks for people as well, like Christian does.
I do.
can-
I make all
oh.
kinds of great things. And
Nice.
And
I
Okay.
haven't turned these
We gotta-
into earrings yet, but I make these little cute little Sasquatchy.
Oh my
wow.
And yeah, all kinds of things, pucks and
yeah, so I wanted to
Okay.
show these. Now it's a very different kind of orgonite. It doesn't look like it's like any big deal at the surface, but why would I take such great time to show this? We are using this medically
Mhm.
on ourselves.
Yeah.
When we're finding pain, when we're finding energy blockages, when we're finding we're ourselves cramped in our legs and our hips and our ankles, we are laying this on it and the
Mhm.
pain is receding. You
Yeah.
know, we're not making any claims or guarantees. This is all just
Right, yeah.
experimentation on
Yeah.
ourselves. We
Always
don't know
consult your
pay
medical
for anyone,
professional.
but
Okay.
yeah, you
Disclaimer.
know, but we're finding, I mean, and I thank the Sasquatch for this. The Sasquatch gave us, we were coming home from a gathering on the coast, and I had actually pulled a muscle in my left hip, and it was very, very painful. I'm sitting in the car and I'm like, please, God, please, Sasquatch, please help me give me something that I can do right now that will relieve this pain. And I'm in the car.
Oh, crystal skull.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, but this is Orgonite.
Oh, it's Orgonite. Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
And so what happened to Christian?
So this was sitting in the dashboard that Kelly made. And immediately I got the intuition, put it on your hip.
Oh.
And immediately took the pain away in a minute. And in fact, I kind of stretched my foot out and I heard a big pop. And then I started feeling energy flow in my leg like I haven't felt in years.
Wow.
Oh, man.
So it brought back a lot of my feeling.
So would you
So-
say that, because I have a lot of these Orgonite piece pucks, I guess you could call them. I have
Yes.
quite a few of these. And you know, I put them around my electronics.
Since
when
we're
I'm-
all showing off.
Are organized, yes. And I have a pyramid too. But do you
I love them.
my question to you is, can all Orgonite do that, or is it something special about your yours? Not that it isn't special, but do you understand what I'm saying?
Right. There's many different aspects. So the thicker it is, like the more dense it is, the more effective it's going to be because you can
Okay.
put more materials in it. So usually the more metals that are in it, the more effective it's going to be.
Okay, because
It's
this has a
really-
lot of copper and metal.
Yeah, it's a lot about that.
Okay.
Now, what we've kind of been realizing and discovering too is that when I use aluminum in it, the aluminum seems to have more of a calming effect or a reducing effect, if I can say. So like if you put it near electronics or something like that, it's going to, reduce the EMF. And I don't know if this is like 100% always consistent, but the ones that are heavier in the copper, that's kind of helping to amplify things, or it helps stimulate things, it helps things to grow. So you can kind of think of like magnetic therapy almost, and so the aluminum would be more of the negative side, and the copper is kind of more of the positive side.
Okay.
And so the different effects that it has. But then like this one, a lot of them are like also what he showed. I put a layer of shungite in it a lot too. And I've noticed that when you put the shungite side on your skin or wherever you're feeling it, that also really helps as well. So it's the Orgonite plus the shungite. So yeah, we're still kind of like experimenting with all the different things, but yeah, I mean, it's certainly it's worth a try. And if it does something that an effect that you don't like, you could always try flipping it over and seeing if the other side of the Orgonite, has a different response or something like that.
And definitely, if you start to feel, that was the other thing I wanted to mention too, because you can overstimulate very easily with these.
Yeah,
you can go very much from pain relief to a very different kind of pain if you're not mindful. I mean, I did a copper pyramid and I put it on my hip and I did it for half an hour, and right here in my right back of my shoulder blade, I felt the energy blast out and I was sore for 2 days.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, you really have to be mindful when you're doing this stuff and you're playing with it. I would say try it. I would say, experiment with it, but be mindful about it,
And
your body. And the moment something doesn't feel right, take it off of you.
Right.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Listen to your body. Listen to your body,
Yes. I
definitely.
mean, I hear
Yeah.
sometimes people are like, oh, well, sometimes it's just a healing process. If you go through it, you're eventually going to go through the pain. No, you may seriously hurt yourself.
It's a lot of
and listen
energy.
to your body.
Yes.
Yeah.
And they're not only good for putting on the body and healing like that, but they're also wonderful to have in the room, to have in
Mhm.
different rooms, because they clear energy and do all
Yeah.
kinds of
Yes.
stuff too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We have an EMF
Yeah.
meter, and it's, just a little thing. And we were going around the all our wall outlets, and they were giving off a charge. And then Kelly just
Wow.
over time just started making Orgonite wall outlets.
Yeah,
And we
I
put
make
them all, and she
outlet
sells them too.
covers.
Oh,
Oh, that's
oh
a
my
good
gosh, that's
idea.
brilliant.
You know, I
Totally
have one
changed
of
the
those
energy.
meters. I
Oh,
used it
yeah.
for paranormal stuff. I didn't even think about using it for
Yeah.
It's good
wall
for
outlets.
going around the electronics and everything.
Yeah.
Definitely, it cleared part of the charge in the house, and it definitely made the energy calmer, more relaxed.
Oh,
That's
So,
a good
yeah,
idea.
Mhm.
Yeah. Very cool.
she makes them all. She
She
makes
makes-
them all, and she's very affordable.
We're gonna have your
Uh,
we're gonna have all your information down below. So I wanted to cover a little bit about the crystal skull. And so you have, and I forget the lady's name who's the caretaker of the skull.
Carolyn Ford.
Okay.
It's
It's Bill.
Bill Homan. It used to be Anna Mitchell Hedges,
Okay.
who passed, and
Passed,
now
yeah.
he's the caretaker. Yeah.
So he's the caretaker. Okay. So
Oh, okay.
yeah, I met Max, and I was able to have
Okay.
a sitting with Max many seems
Wow.
like lifetimes ago, about 20
Yeah.
something years ago. That was super powerful
Yes.
time together. So tell me how you got involved with the crystal skulls.
Well, in 2019, at our gathering at the conference that we had when it was in Chihuahua Peak, the pandemic really changed the whole landscape and the location of everything, and the ability for people to gather and everything. So,
Right.
but in 2019, when we had it at a prior location, Barbara Jean Lindsay was there, and she was like, "Hey, would you like to have the crystal skull here next year?" And I was like, yeah, like, what kind of question is that? I was like, she's like, okay, I'll call Bill and ask him. And then she comes up to me like literally an hour later, and she's like, guess what? He's coming next year. And I'm like, whoa, okay. So we're talking like a whole year ahead of time. And then everything with the pandemic happened, and a lot of things kind of fell apart, but we were still planning the gathering rather underground, but Bill still came out with the
Nice.
skull.
Nice.
And it was especially, in spite of everything that was going on too. I mean, he was planning on coming anyway, but that's what like really gave the motivation and the inspiration that like there's no way we're gonna back down and not allow this to happen, kind of thing. And it was just amazing. So yeah, so it was in 2020 that he came out here with the Mitchell Hedges skull, and we had a camp out at a local campground here. And we had a wonderful, very powerful ceremony with the skull. And it wanted to integrate with the Sasquatch energy too. And, all of this. But anyway, they've worked together in the past. So it was kind of we call it a Sasquatch family reunion. It's a family reunion of all beings. And that's really what occurred there. And so now, this year, planning the gathering of the ancients, both of us kept having visions or dreams of the skull. It was just coming so strongly. And so I was like, I'm going to see if, Bill is open to bringing the skull here to Arkansas. And he's like, oh my gosh, yeah. He's like, I keep feeling a call to come to Arkansas. And he's like, I really feel like the skull wants to, be immersed in a lot of the crystal energy there too. But he's also been doing a lot more ceremony, kind of indigenous ceremonies and things like that, and bringing that kind of knowledge to the indigenous communities. and gatherings and things like that. So it all just aligns, and that's how it's coming together again this year.
Nice.
What's really amazing, we had a personal session with the skull, and okay, I have Mihunka here. This is not the Mitchell Hedges skull, but
Okay.
she's wanting
Yeah.
to say hi. So
Whoa.
yes,
Mihunka?
Mihunka, yes, that's a Lakota word. Hunka is a ceremony where you adopt somebody into your tribe. It's an honorable adoption of sorts.
Okay.
Of inviting someone into your family is called the Hunka ceremony, and Mihunka is the name or the title for kind of a really high honored elder. And that's the name that I received, that her name is, or what she wishes to be called. So this is Mihunka.
Oh, beautiful.
But when
Whoa.
we met with the Mitchell Hedges skull, we both had a few private moments, with the skull, just integrating, getting, receiving the messages from it. And then Bill guided us with the skull through our own ceremony. It was like a hand fasting. It was a marriage ceremony. This crystal skull married us without us having any idea that this was going to happen, but it was really a big blessing. And it was even like, okay, you may now kiss the bride kind of thing.
Oh my gosh, that is so amazing.
So when we finally walked away from it, we're just looking at each other and we're like, we just got married, didn't we? Like,
what just happened?
Just married us. Yeah. Or at least blessed our union. Yeah. So that was a really awesome experience.
Amazing.
Yeah.
That is so amazing. So I have a question for you about the crystal skulls in general. Well, first question is, does the Mitchell Hedges stone have a name, or is the stone just called Mitchell Hedges stone?
It's called the Mitchell Hedges crystal skull.
I mean, crystal skull.
Name that's what's kind of the name that's made it famous, or what people know it by. But it's called the Skull of Love also. And
nice.
Other, communities or circles, if you call it the Skull of Love, they know who you're talking about.
She
overwhelmingly
is
female.
a native priestess.
From
way back.
Yes.
And I personally feel, and I received when I was there 2020 at the gathering, that her origin, she was not created. That was a live being.
Okay.
Was alive.
Oh wow.
That was my next question. Is the
I
skulls?
personally feel that skull is a live being.
That particular skull, the Mitchell Hedges skull, is so perfect. And scientists and computer analysts and everybody have tested it to try to figure out how this could have been created, because it's it has a jaw that separates it from the skull, but all of it was carved of one piece of crystal, and it's so perfect. It's the exact size, the exact structure and everything of a human skull, and there's no tool marks on it that they can so they can't find like how it could have been created. So and there's certainly traditions or rumors, whatever you want to call it, there's stories that it is a skull that was crystallized, and a few people have done, what's the word, like a police sketch artist, forensic. A few people have done the forensics on the Mitchell Hedges skull, and they all come back the same as a young Mayan woman, like a young Mayan priestess, a beautiful woman, somebody that looks.
You mean like
20
a
years
remote,
old.
like a remote viewing kind of thing?
No, from actually viewing the structure of the skull, like with science.
Like
I
like
see.
a police sketch artist.
Yeah, police sketch, or how they like mold skin onto a skull or something to determine what somebody's face look like.
Gotcha.
Read this book.
Yeah.
All right. Mystery of the Crystal Skulls. Okay.
I just finished it. This will answer so many questions.
That's the Mitchell Hedges on the cover.
That is the Mitchell Hedges skull. I
Okay.
just finished this.
Who's it by?
It is by Chris Morton and Sari Louise Thomas.
Okay.
I can't see.
Yeah. There.
Okay.
Wow.
This book, I just finished it. It is amazing. It confirmed so much of what I felt.
Nice.
And it expanded on so much that I wondered about. And it goes really deep into Maya. It goes really deep into ceremony. It goes really deep into the grandmothers. They're all grandmothers, the 13. Talks actually about 52 throughout the world.
Yeah.
That there were singing skulls and there were talking skulls. And the singing skulls, with Bill Mitchell Hedges skull is one of, has a detachable jaw, and it's from the same piece.
Oh.
And
This is
Whoa.
Melchizedek.
Melchizedek.
Melchizedek, and he is made of blue obsidian, very rare stone, and he's way heavier. You can see it's about the same size as
heavier.
He's like way heavier. And I wish we had some light, or anyway.
Where did you get these beautiful skulls?
They came to me. I mean,
I don't know if you can see it.
Sasquatch.
Yes, well, yes, online, but I'll tell you, I was not even seeking them out. And the price that I got them for was a sixth, maybe, of what they should cost. It was truly a gift.
Wow.
Yeah, so Melchizedek, and so these are two very powerful beings. We have some smaller ones as well, but these ones participate in our gatherings and different ceremonies and things like that. So.
I have a small replica of Max. When I went to see Max, I purchased a small replica because I'm in love with Max.
Yeah.
So you're saying the 13 skulls are grandmothers?
They're grandmothers.
That makes sense.
Okay.
They're our grandmothers.
Yeah.
I've got two skulls that I bought from someone over at Stonehenge, and they're made out of the two stones that Stonehenge is made out of, the blue stones that are the smaller ones, and the sandstones. And they're on my crystal grids all the time. And I love them. And I just, oh my gosh, I have tingling all the way down my body as you're showing these. It's like, oh, I love it.
I asked them recently, who are you guys? And the answer that came back was, we're your ancestors.
Yeah.
Multi-dimensional.
That was my question.
Way beyond out, the infinite out and the infinite in. Wow.
Yes. The Sasquatch told me at one time, because I work with crystal a lot as well. And, Stone Man here, stones and crystals are a very large part of our life. But we know that stones have a consciousness, but the Sasquatch told me that not only are the stones conscious, but they're the source of consciousness.
It makes sense.
Yeah, the source of consciousness. So when you think of it that way, I mean, what greater allies do we have than to have crystals and stones near us?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, sometimes when I sit and I gaze, or just commune, I don't like the word gaze, I like the word commune. Commune with the stones. A lot of times, and you make art and you put them around your desk and you have a number of them. After a while, I noticed they'd shift on their own.
Yeah.
They would shift, like you bump into the table and all of a sudden they shift. And all of a sudden I would start observing what they were taking in when they shift. Who are they looking at? What are they looking at? Where is the focus? And I learned that they're able to see, like us, the mind's eye or whatever, but for them it's expansive. It's like you look out of your eyes at a scene, but where we move constantly, they're just expanding that scene constantly until they shift with the wind, or they shift with the with somebody bumping into a table or an animal kicks them in the woods. And I learned that none of that is random. All of that is conscious.
Wow.
But they take that in. So it's that unfolding process. They have that deep. And then I ask myself, what would it be like to sit 48 hours, a day, a week, a month, and just viewing the same landscape? What would come out from that? How much do we tune out? There are masters too. We definitely can learn a lot from them.
Absolutely.
Have
It's interesting when you say that about sitting one place and viewing one thing. What comes to mind is Eckhart Tolle,
Yes.
who would sit on the same park bench and just in quiet and just in observance, and what he gleaned and how he grew.
Yeah.
Wow.
I was just going to ask if anyone's read Dolores Cannon's books, Convoluted Universe series, where she has a few clients that remember, and we've all been there, we've all done it all, right? Remember their lifetime in hypnosis as a stone, as a rock. That was their life. That's
Wow. I'm very familiar with Dolores, but I haven't actually read those books. I read one of them. I can't remember which one. But yeah, no, I haven't heard that, but that's really awesome.
The Convoluted Universe series will, and probably not you guys, but it's mind pretzel stuff. It definitely is, and highly recommended. It's amazing stuff. But yeah, she talks to quite a few people that have had their consciousness is as a rock. Wow. And they describe what it's like to be a stone, big stone, a small stone, whatever, as it's being turned over in the ocean or going down the river or whatever, and their consciousness and how they see themselves. It's really cool.
I love that.
That's beautiful.
I'm so there. I identify as a crystal.
And I should also mention that
crystalline beings.
And we are too.
We
are all piezoelectric.
Yeah.
And it's the same stuff that powers our computers.
Yes. And so much other stuff.
Yeah, everything that's communication, and our pineal gland.
Yes.
Is also crystalline.
Yeah, it's crystals. It's got little crystals in it, and it powers this thing right here, and so much. Yeah.
And yet
that is a little computer.
It's just a rock. Right.
To them, it is.
Yeah.
To them, it is. When I started doing stone painting, there was about 4 months going into it where the palms of my hands became super, super sore.
Yeah.
And I asked myself, what's going on here? And something just told me, go with it. Yeah. And what I realized they were doing, when you work with stones like that and you hold them in your hands a lot, they literally just kind of like pry open your chakras like that. And it takes a couple of months, but boy, you feel the communication really strengthen after that.
Yep.
So anybody who does touch stones or hold stones and your hands start to hurt, go with it.
Yeah. It's interesting. Right before you started saying that, my palm started throbbing. So I grabbed my little scoliocyte.
Beautiful.
On there, just like,
I'm grabbing this one.
We're good. Oh, rose quartz.
Rose quartz. Yeah, I have this one next to me.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
We love them. We're all rock people.
I'm also going to add that we're all earth signs.
Yes.
You're 3 Virgos and I'm a Taurus.
You're a Taurus.
Yeah. Oh, I love it.
My birthday, my 50th birthday is the day before our gathering.
Oh, is it? 15th? What day is that? The 15th?
The 15th.
That was my grandpa's birthday, my grandfather's birthday, who was the Native American.
Another Virgo. Wow.
Yeah, what an amazing man. And it's funny, you seem very familiar to me, Christian. You both do, actually, but there's something about your mannerism. And I was like, God, you seem so familiar. And we said that, I was like, you remind me of my grandpa.
Wow.
That's so cool.
Oh, how beautiful.
Yeah, that's so cool. Wow.
Was there anything else? So cool. Yeah, it has been. Is there anything else you'd like to share, Kelly and Christian
Oh my
before we
goodness, there's so much.
say goodbye? I know, right? We're just gonna have to do this again. That's all there is to it.
Well, really quickly, Sharon, your birthday is the 14th,
12th,
the 12th, and mine's the 20th.
the 20th.
We're all
So
within 10 days of each
Yeah.
other.
yeah.
12th, 15th, 20th.
Yeah.
And I'm
Ah,
over here
funny.
April 30th. but
And you, pardon me?
I'm April 30th.
April
so,
30th?
Yeah. At least
My
it's still
partner's
the
is April
summertime.
4th.
Okay. Yeah.
Uh,
Perfect.
He's in
yeah.
Aries though. Yeah. Nice. Yeah, it's all good.
Yeah. I
Aries
can't
and
think of
Virgos go good together.
a whole
Uh-huh.
lot else to share other than, if we were going to dive into a whole other topic. So,
Mm,
but I'll send you the information and links to
Yeah.
gathering into the books. I'll mention too, I have two websites for the books and information on, articles and videos and things for a lot of the Sasquatch Message to Humanity. That website is www.sasquatchmessage.com. And then I have a website that is more focused on the gatherings. And there are a few products for sale there too. I'm really kind of bad about taking pictures and listing them. But
It's a pain in the neck.
it's a lot of
Right,
work.
it is,
It's a lot of
it
work.
is.
Yeah.
but for more information about the gathering, anyhow, that's www.sasquatchfamilyreunion.com. So you could check out more information and find us through those websites.
Okay, so
Yeah.
there's ways to contact you if someone wants their rock done, or if they're interested in any of the orgonite or anything, they can contact
Yes.
you. Okay.
Yes.
So
Yeah,
you make jewelry too, Kelly? Is that
I do.
Okay.
Yeah, I do mainly earrings and necklaces,
Okay.
things like that, but beaded and the orgonite,
Cool.
different things like that. But
nice?
It's so cool. I love it. You guys are artists.
Yeah.
Artists.
yeah,
Yes.
we are. It brings us
should.
joy.
So I'm going to share with you guys a dragon egg.
Oh,
I do want something. I'm
Yay!
gonna show you
I
guys a
love
dragon egg,
dragons.
because I'm very connected to the dragons
We're in
too.
the dragon.
Mhm.
oh wow.
Oh wow!
the
Oh
dragon eye.
wow!
Mhm.
Gorgeous.
And
I
this
just got
is-
done doing a big class on dragons last month. Oh yeah.
What kind of
Ooh,
class? Isn't that beautiful?
I don't know if you could see it.
that
It
that
glows in
is
the dark.
Mm.
It's kind of hard,
whoa.
but it glows in the dark.
Wow.
You got a little glare, but yeah, it glows. The lightning and the eye all glows in the dark.
That is gorgeous.
Wow, that is so cool.
So
Wow.
I want to share a message that I said earlier about. I want to expand on hugs, heal hearts, particularly heart to heart. Every time I reach out to my fellow human being, or a tree or an animal or any being, and I press it against my heart, we're one step closer to universal healing, literally,
Mhm.
physically. It's so important that we connect our hearts physically. You go to someone and you just hug them, heart to heart, and simple thing, but it has such a profound effect.
Mhm.
Yes,
Hugs really do heal hearts.
Yeah.
they do.
And
Thank
that's
you,
something
Christian.
that, with the pandemic, with people being so scared to
Yeah.
touch each other, you need to
Yes.
get
Yeah.
back
We needed to
to
get
hugging
touch
each other.
We
again.
do.
We
We
need
do.
to
Yeah.
press our hearts together. We literally feel as one again.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
We're reconnected
absolutely.
now.
We've been so separated for less.
Mm.
But anyway, yes, we need to reconnect. Thank you.
Mm.
Thank you. Beautiful.
Thank you.
Thank
Oh my
you.
gosh.
Yeah.
There-
Wow.
oh.
Mhm.
Oh, that's so cool. This has been such a
That'll be
wonderful
the thumbnail.
interview. I'm just-
I'll let you guys kiss me.
Mwah. Mwah.
Mwah.
Wow.
Oh, that makes
Love
me
you.
so
They're
happy.
saying we love you. I can feel
Oh,
them
we
saying
love
we
Oh,
love
I
you.
love them
And we love
too.
you.
And
Aw.
we love
And we
you.
love
I'm
you.
so happy we had you guys on here. You guys are so amazing. This is so
Thanks.
fun.
This
and
is a love bomb, isn't it?
It
It's
is
it's a
love
huge love bomb for
city.
everyone out there.
Inviting us
Yes.
on. Yes.
And everybody who watches this is going to feel it too.
Yeah.
You know, everybody just open up your hearts and just receive all of this love. This is what it's about. This is where we're headed. This is how we're going to heal, you know. And the great metaphysician Yeshua, he said, one thing you got to do, just one, and that's love one another.
Love one another.
And it's so important.
I'm
Everything
vibrating
else will
like
fall
crazy.
into place.
Is everyone else vibrating too?
Oh my God,
Oh,
so
yeah.
much.
Vibrating like crazy.
So much. And I've got an
Woo.
Andara crystal here, right here, that just
There you
wants to
go.
come join
Oh,
the party.
He's wearing one.
Mm,
I'm not
Nice.
wearing mine today. Yeah.
Aw. Aw.
I've got a
Oh,
bunch of them. I
Oh,
just
wow.
love them.
Beautiful.
Beautiful.
I
All
saw
right.
somebody had one of these and my ears got so hot that I was like sweating and was like, I think I need to get one of whatever these things are.
Wow.
You know, I always thought they were glass, you know, and so I bought one. I went, oh,
Did you
I
get that
gotta
from
have another
Amira?
one.
Amira sells them.
No, but I did get them from another woman who's over there in Hawaii.
Okay.
But yeah, I've been looking at Amira's stuff. That's going to be my
Nice.
next little Andara that I get. But oh
All right. Thank
my
you,
gosh.
everyone, for
Thank
being
Oh my
here. Thank you
gosh.
so
May
much,
you,
Kelly
bless
and
you
Christian.
both. May you
Mhm.
both step into beautiful harmony wherever you go. And may
Mm.
life meet you all right where you're at and harmonize perfectly.
Oh.
And so
Mwah.
it is.
Bless you both. Bless you both. Yeah.
Abracadabra, as it is spoken, so it
Everything
is.
It is done.
it
It is
is.
done. It is done.
It is done. It's done. It's done. And for everyone out there watching, thank you for being here. And we
Yep.
hope you felt the love bomb.
Yeah, we love you guys. So happy you come
We
to
love you.
New Earth
Wow.
Rising and all of the people that watch these videos. You know, we're all here about love.
Yeah.
And Kelly and Christian, we're just so happy that you're here and that you share your love and all your goodies and your fun and so much. And we're definitely going to have to do this again.
Mhm.
We're definitely going to have to do this again. I know that we just barely got the top of the tip of the iceberg on fun stuff that we can talk about. So we'll get you guys back on. Thank you so much. It's been an absolute honor. And Sharon, my shenanigator, it's always so fun. You know, we
Mwah.
get done with
Bless
these
you.
shows and we're just like, oh, it's like
know,
we don't
right?
want to leave. Can we
It's
just all just
hard
hang
to-
out, just sit here?
I know it's hard to hang up. You know, and you're talking to someone on the phone. It's so hard to hang up. So, all right.
Okay.
Thanks,
Guys,
everyone.
bless.
Thank you
Mwah.
guys.
Love you.
Mm.
Okay.
Love
Love
Don't
to
go anywhere.
everyone.
Okay.
Mwah, mwah,
Bless.
mwah.